Hey guys, it's Jordan. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting video. I'll be showing you guys some of the books that I loved to read during the summer, the best summer books to read. I stand by all of these. These give me like such a warm summery vibe, regardless if they're set in the summer or not. It's just like the perfect beach read, the perfect read to read on vacation or just sitting outside. Just gives you those summer feels. Most of these books are very light reads. I love a good like intricate detailed book, but I also love like a good book that's super nice and flowy and just giddy and exciting and, you know, less heavy. I don't read super often, especially when I'm busy a lot, but it's one of my favorite hobbies, one of my favorite things to do, and I have read all these books. I love them all. As a reader that isn't super complex and knows everything about books, this is just like the basic eye view. Like, trust me when I say they're very good, and I have all my honest opinions. And if you guys want to go follow me on Goodreads, I have little short reviews, and also I have all my ratings on there. So without further ado, let's just start talking about the books. This series is kind of a given, and obviously it's so good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's so good, and I feel like you need to read the books if you've watched the show, and if you haven't read the books, you need to. 10 out of 10 recommend reading the books. A lot of people get mad in the show whenever you read the books because there's lots of differences. The Summer I Turn Pretty series, this is like the most basic summer read series. Like, it says The Summer I Turn Pretty. Of course you have to read these. The first book is just, you know, the basic first season. She goes to her summer beach house with her family, and her mom is best friends with the boy's mom, and they all have a blast every summer, but she's obviously in love with one of the brothers that does not reciprocate the same feelings. I'm not going to go too much into detail about these books because most people have watched the show on Prime or whatever. The next book is It's Not Summer Without You. And the third book is We'll Always Have Summer. Also good. And just like, look, these are everything and more. Cannot wait for the third season of the show to come out, by the way. The next book that I have is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is an amazing author, and every single book she writes just gives me such good vibes and helps me feel so calm. And I actually like got hooked onto reading because of Emily Henry. But this one is so good, and I read it on the beach. That's why this one is like literally beat up. Can you tell even? I don't know. So this book is basically about this girl named January. She meets this guy named Augustus. They're both writers, and January's in a rut. And basically the whole plot is about them switching writing styles and trying to write books that they each write. So like Augustus has a different writing style than January, but they basically switch styles trying to see if they can finish their books. It's so good. Just trust me when I say that. Like, it's just amazing, and the tension's immaculate. It's just wonderful. Next book is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. She runs into the boy over and over again, and she goes to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina, so they can take this. She can go on a sister's trip with her sister. I don't want to like just say too much because I don't want to give away everything, but you could easily read the back of the book, and I just recommend this. And then lastly, by Emily Henry, Happy Place. I literally list all her most popular books. She just came out with a new one too. I'm not unsure what that's called, but The Happy Place is so good. It's basically about a couple that broke off their engagement, and then they have to fake like they're still engaged because their friends invite them on this huge vacation, and they don't want to like disappoint them. They didn't tell anybody that they broke off their engagement. So it's like close proximity vibe. I wouldn't say enemies because they're not really enemies, but second chances, right person, wrong time. I don't know, things like that. It's so good. And normally I don't get the hardcover, but I had to because it took forever to release the paperback. Another author that I really love is Ali Hazelwood, and all her books are super summery. I love The Love Hypothesis. Definitely recommend that. It's probably her most popular one in my opinion. But Loath to Love You is a super cool book because it has these little 3 stories in this one book. Yeah, it literally is 3 in 1. Each book is like 100-ish pages, so it's very interesting. The only thing I'd say is like it's like separated like this one book, so it's like really nice if you get bored really easily. And also I recommend this getting out of like a reading slump because it helps you get through books really fast. It's hard though because a lot of these books get cut short, like their stories. You feel like it could have more if you are into longer books because you're like, wow, that was so quick. I do recommend for readers that have short attention spans, and it's just really nice quick reads. Each story is about something different, so I'm not gonna even explain that, but it has like a little description on the back of everything of the 3 stories. The next one is The American Roommate Experiment, and I loved this one. It was very similar to the Spanish Love Deception, and that one's also very good. Her apartment, the main character, her apartment, it like literally collapsed on itself. It's just awful. It's not helpful to live in. And so her best friend lets her live in her apartment, but she didn't know that the best friend's cousin was also gonna live in her apartment. So they basically have to live together, and it's funny, and it's like a very enemy-like energy. It's bickering and it's all that tension. It's super fun. It's very good. So definitely recommend. And it's like fake dating. He goes on little dates to help inspire her. Next is Just Haven't Met You Yet. This one is pretty good too. I didn't rate this the super highest, but I thought it was worth like mentioning because it's basically about these two people that accidentally switch suitcases, and then they later on meet, obviously, to finally switch back their luggage. It's like her journey trying to discover the man and find her suitcase, and there's lots of like plot twists. Next one is called Wildfire. I just finished this one recently actually. It's by Hannah Grace, same author that wrote Icebreakers. Icebreakers is a very common book. Everyone knows about it really for its smut. But Wildfire is about camp counselors that meet before camp at a party, and at camp you're not obviously allowed to, you know, fraternize with each other because kids and everything. There's like tension and chemistry and little problems within each of their lives, and they bond through their traumas. It's just lots of like, it's so hard. It's not a slow burn, but it's like, oh, like get together already, if you know what I mean. So interesting, and it's weird because I've never read a book about like camp, you know, so it's like definitely weird at first, but I say read it. It's good. But also, can we take a second? I got this book and I didn't realize that this page at the end was ripped out. That's okay. If you know me, you know my favorite author is Taylor Jenkins Reid, and these two books are definitely really good reads. I also love The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That's probably one of my favorite books ever. That one's a really good read. Or Carrie Soto Returns, I think it's called. Both super good. I just don't have them with me. Definitely recommend those. And I have After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, about this couple that reaches a breaking point. Their marriage is falling apart, and so it's basically them trying to like survive their marriage. And so I think they do take some time apart, and it's a very sad story. It's worth it. It's very good. Then we have Maybe in Another Life. I love it because there's two different like storylines. So either she leaves with her best friend Gabby after the bar and she lives that life, or she leaves with a guy, Ethan, and lives that life, which is a really cool experience to read through because I think each chapter is like a switch of the next. Like it's like she doing this chapter, she doing that, what she doing that chapter. So it's very interesting, and it gets a little confusing at times to keep up with both storylines, but it's very, very captivating, and it won't lose your attention. And then the last book that I have is called The Song of Achilles. This one is not so much lighthearted of romance like I was just talking about everything else. There is romance in this. This is probably one of my favorite books ever. It is like Greek mythology related, so if you don't like that kind of thing, you probably wouldn't like it. It's amazing. Like seriously, I felt so connected to the characters, and it was a little bit difficult to keep up with because like it's a lot of like Greek terms and things like that, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot at once. But it's so good. I literally have no words. I literally have never cried over a book in my life, and my eyes teared up from this book. It was kind of sad, but so heartfelt and heartwarming and touching. And this author, Madeline Miller, she also wrote a book called Circe, which is also a very heartfelt good one. I did like this one better, but Circe is also very good. I read this in one sitting, I think. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you gained some inspiration on what books to read. If you have book recommendations, comment them for me because I need more books to read. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.